Viewer voice messages, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on speakpipe.com. All right, here we go. We're going to answer your questions. We've got quite a few to get through today, so we're going to knock these out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? I'm ready. These have been great, by the way. The calls have been fantastic, so keep it up. If you want to send me a message, it's easy, so easy. Follow the link in the description below, the SpeakPipe link. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer, however you want to do it. You can talk to the face of the franchise himself. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to kick it off with, we're going to go from the furthest, so this is a couple days ago, to the most recent. A couple days ago, Austin Jacobs is kicking us off.
Hey, James. This season as a Saints fan, it's kind of rough, obviously, the losses. My question for the man, the face of the franchise, not
the
just
best.
as a Saints,
yes,
but of Tulane, the man that is the king of New Orleans.
I mean, you said it, not me.
The legend of it. Talk about New Orleans sports, especially with football, and promoting Tulane, which a lot of people don't really mention Tulane, how good they're doing this year.
True. Well, until Thursday
night. My question really, this is kind of going to tie into the question, but as a Saints fan, is it wrong to not really care too? Obviously, we want to win, but not care too much about it when you have all this young talent like Danny the Stud. I like to see all the young guys play and see what we got in them, because I think a lot of the young talent has a shot to really be the next key players on the team. Like Quincy Riley, I think he has a shot to be the number one cornerback.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
Is it wrong to want to just what keeps people like at Saints fan hope to look at to watch games, to look at the young guys? And my other question really,
well, let me answer that one. So no, I mean, it's not wrong to, a lot of the times we talk about that, where you can't get so tunnel visioned into the individual game that all you're concerned about is a win or a loss. Because when you're a rebuilding team, when you're a bad team, when you're a team that's just learning who it is, trying to find its identity, that can make for a very miserable season, right? If, pretend you're not a Saints fan. If you are a Tennessee Titans fan, it's insane to hear. It would be insane to hear that a Titans fan wants to win every game. Of course you want to, but it's expects to win every game, or expects to be in every game, or is disappointed in every loss, because you understand, y'all are the first overall pick. Y'all were bad last year. Your roster's not that good. It's going to be kind of an uphill battle. At that point, you're just trying to watch for individual performances, find the identity of the team, see what the coaches are doing. There's a lot going on in a game. I mean, there's a ton happening. So I would recommend not to just exclusively look at the scoreboard and see, the numbers move up and down, but you got to kind of watch what's actually happening on the field on a player-to-player and play-to-play basis. So, no, I don't think it's crazy not to go all in on simply wins and losses. But, I understand it's frustrating to lose. No one likes to lose. I mean, even after some games, even myself, I'm like, man, this sucks. This was not a fun experience. I'm not enjoying this experience. And losses can make that happen. That's why, I mean, we're all fans, right? So it's natural. But yeah, it's totally cool to focus on some of the other stuff.
For the trade deadline coming up, there's a few players, obviously, you probably know, that are looking to be traded, that are rumored to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
The one I really don't want to see, just because, being in New Orleans, he's kind of, the face of the team right now, Alvin Kamara. I'm not sure if it's the scheme. I know schemes do affect players and how they perform. Could we see a Devin Neal, maybe if he doesn't get traded, taking over more of the runs and have Kamara in packages to catch and be out, kind of like what Kubiak did? Or is that most likely going to be a popular trade that's going to probably happen? I know with Olave, with Pittsburgh and other teams looking to add another wide receiver, the one player I think is more likely is either Pete Warner or Trevor Penning. I want your opinion on who would you see being traded, because Pete Warner, obviously his contract's not too bad, but he's more expensive than a rookie, and with Danny being on the team, that's a potential where I don't mind Pete Warner, but there's some plays in the past couple of games where you could have seen him. He could have picked off a couple of balls but dropped it.
Let me go to the Devin Neal thing real quick. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, with Kendra Miller in there, he was basically in a 50-50 timeshare with Alvin Kamara. Now the question is, can Devin Neal be as good as Kendre Miller was? If Devin Neal can be that good, if Devin Neal shows that he has the potential and he's getting the results, yeah, they would probably prefer to use Alvin and whoever in a timeshare for sure. But if Devin Neal can't do it, if he gets in there and he's just kind of struggling or there's just nothing there, then you kind of have to put the volume on Alvin. As far as him being traded, I think unless there's like an insane offer that's coming in, I don't think the franchise wants to trade Alvin. I don't think Alvin wants to be traded, so I doubt he does get traded. I think Rashid Shaheed is the guy that they're actively trying to trade because of the fact that he could walk or more than likely will walk, and you get nothing for him, right? So you'd always choose to get assets than not get assets. Penning, like the whole Penning, Ruiz, like those guys, like it's hard to imagine someone making a call. It really is. Like it's hard to imagine someone calling and saying, "Hey, you wouldn't mind if we traded for Trevor Penning, huh?" It's like, this is a prank call. Sure. What do you want to give me? Jesus. So I just don't think there'll be a suitor. But if there are suitors you're taking calls on every single player, anyone. If the phone lines are open, but the question is like, how many people are calling?
Like, is it worth trading Pete Warner and giving Danny more playing time and more plays to see what you got in him? Because I think he has a brighter upside, especially when you look at his combine and what he did in college. I like Danny. He's a stud for a reason, I want your opinion on that. And as a Tulane fan, I'm happy that, you're a person on, YouTube and other platforms that promote Tulane, especially the new unis.
Yeah. Roll wave.
Oh my God. Do you think John Summerall makes the playoffs and with the LSU job open, do you think he would take that job? And if not, do you see him turning Tulane into a consistent playoff team and possibly maybe in the future, whether it's 6-10 years from now, winning a national championship with Tulane? I know it's being a Group 5, it's very hard. I want your opinion on that. And last but not least, why don't you...
All right, let's go back to the Tulane question. I talked about this in my LSU video, talking about some candidates. I don't think Summerall would take the job. I mean, you don't turn down $15-20 million, but I don't know if because of the politics and everything going on in the coaching search with LSU, I don't know if they can optically poach the Tulane coach and implant into LSU. I think optically that would look really weird. If it was a different school, different situation, different, if there was an athletic director and all that stuff. But because of how this is all played out in the last couple of days, I don't know if they could do that. I just don't know how that would look just from a higher education standpoint. Like just I think that would look bad. So I don't think Summerall is in consideration. If everything was equal, he'd be a great candidate for sure. As far as Tulane, I don't think they'll make the playoffs now that they got absolutely dog walked on Thursday. They had the driver's seat. They just had to take care of business, and they would have made the playoffs. But Tulane's really, last couple of years, that program has really taken off. And, I saw something a long time ago that was like, Tulane is the football team that Southern Miss, and I graduated from Southern Miss as well. So those are my two teams, like Southern Miss and Tulane. I read that Tulane is the football team that Southern Miss thinks it should be, and Southern Miss is the baseball team that Tulane thinks it should be. And it kind of is true. Like Tulane all of a sudden is this football power. Southern Miss was like this baseball power, not a football power. They're good in football this year with the new coaching staff and the transfers. But Tulane, the uniforms are so sick. Like how can a team not be good with uniforms like that, right?
I would like to see you do more videos on Tulane, covering, college football. Like right now, all football teams, Tulane is probably the most consistent New Orleans team at winning games and performing. I just want your opinion on that and stuff like that. So what you can do, coming from a fan of your show since you started. I hope you keep doing what you're doing. I can't wait to buy some merch off your website, and hopefully one day I can meet you and have you sign it one day.
Always. Yeah. We'd be happy to. Great call. As far as college football, we're trying to really, we've done a handful of college football videos last week or so. We're trying to get in there. I think, just from a content side of things, I think college football, obviously, there's a lot of crossover. And we definitely want to bring in some college football stuff, whether it's prospects or whether it's just teams or games or situations or whatever. We covered the James Franklin thing, the Brian Kelly thing. We've covered some more LSU stuff with the coaching search. So we'll keep on doing college as well. That's definitely something we want to fold into kind of a regular during the season. Thank you, Austin. Great call. All right, now let's jump up to Jay.
All right, how you doing, James? I
What's
don't
up,
want
man?
to make
How's it
this
going?
long. I just
All
want
right,
to
go
do a
ahead.
quick
It's okay.
little message to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the Spencer Rattler benching. I just feel like, yeah, it was a bad game, James. Oh, let me not forget to say, face of the franchise.
It's okay.
Best to do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You keep me
I
locked
mean,
into the game with the
yeah.
metrics, analytics, etc. You keep my ball knowledge up, and I appreciate
That's all we're trying to do here. That's all we're trying to do is see the game from a different level, keep people thinking, think outside of the box, and we do it every single
you for
day.
that. But back to the Spencer Rattler and Shuck thing. You know, I was a very big Spencer Rattler supporter since we drafted him. I've been watching him since high school Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Netflix. So I really was looking forward to him being the franchise guy. You know, I wanted him to be the big baller. I was saying he's gonna have a better legacy than Sean and Drew. I was gonna be the Kellen Spencer show. But with Shuck starting, you know, I just want the best for anyone who's starting. At this point, like, it's been so much losing. I just want to win. So I don't care how we do it. I just need to get it done. It would have been great with Spencer, but I just, I still believe in the same. I don't think we need to fire.
Yeah, I mean, look, I say it all the time, but before you can be great, you got to be good. All right. And of course, you want to look at the finish line and say, damn, this could be the next Sean Payton, Drew Brees, Spencer Rattler, Kellen Moore. But really, you got to look at it of just like, hey, can we beat the Patriots? Hey, can he be good against the Bears? Hey, can he be good against the Bucs? We got to roll some of those over. And that's kind of what I was talking about. It's funny. I had someone, a commenter recently say, like, I'm a Spencer Rattler fan, all this other stuff. And I pointed them to a video when Spencer Rattler was named the starter. And I'll play a clip. Let me go ahead and play. Let me just play a clip. Now I'll say the same thing I've said multiple times. This is nothing. You don't hang a banner because you're named quarterback 1 for week 1. You don't build a statue for being named quarterback 1 of week 1. It is now up to Spencer Rattler to perform. It is now up to Spencer Rattler to be that good that he never relinquishes the job. That's it. Bottom line. If Spencer Rattler is bad week 1, 2, 3, 4, Tyler Shough will be the starting quarterback week 5. So, cool. It is what it is. Saw it coming. All right. Now, be good. Now it's time to put the quarterback battle behind us and focus on the New Orleans Saints. So just like I said in that video, like a lot of people were throwing parades because Spencer Rattler was named the starter. And it's like, look, guys, that's all fine, but that really don't mean a lot of nothing. Same thing with this Tyler Shough thing. All week I've been trying to temper expectation of, look, guys, yeah, he was named the starter. He's going to get to play, but it's a long way to go. Right, he's got to prove that he's good. He's got to prove that he's average. He's got to prove that he's below average. Right, so there's a lot to do, and where the Saints are at, you got to kind of remember that with all these players, even players who I love. I think Danny Sussman's awesome, but I'm not going to sit here and say, all right, Danny Sussman's a 10-year vet, no doubt about it. We're good at that position. Hey, we have Quincy Riley, no doubt about it. He'll be a solid starter for the next 10 years. Hey, we got Jonas Sanker. He's the next great safety in the NFL. He could be a defensive player of the year. It's like, let's just wait. Let's just take it, week by week, day by day, and just see if they can be good or average or whatever for an extended period of time.
Mickey, like everyone's been saying, I think that's bogus. I think that's pretty bogus. I think he's doing this thing. Kevin's doing this thing. I just think we just need some time, man. I know.
Yeah.
The universe will align back where the Saints are, because the universe is only right when the Saints are good. Let's be real. The world has been out of whack, like, taxes and the government shutting down. Like, you see, when the Saints not good, everything's just out of whack. So when the Saints are good again, we're going to be good again.
I can't argue with that.
Appreciate you, James. Thank you for listening and keep doing what you do. Face of the franchise. We out.
There you go. Good call, Jay. I mean, granted, arguably the best time ever was the 90s, and the Saints were absolute balls during that. So who the hell even knows, right? But how much of that was WCW and WWF carrying? Who knows? All right. Good call. Great stuff. Okay, let's go to this is Simon. Saint, Big Dog Simon.
What is up, James Skrmetta?
What's up, man?
Skrmetta man out
Yeah.
here saving the Saints fan universe one channel at a time because we all are depressed individuals right now.
There you
You're
go.
doing the thing out here.
Thank you.
What's up? I got a question.
All right. Came to the right
Last
place.
time I think I asked something about Kellen Moore, if you still believe in him, and you gave your answer, and that's cool. I just got another question about Kellen Moore.
All right.
I like the dude. You know what I'm saying? When we got him, I was excited. Um, he's an analytical guy. He's all about the optics. I think we needed that change. I think that's great. He's all into the details. It's great. But little things that I'm seeing, little things are kind of like I'm like, why are you doing this? My biggest question. I mean, he's an offensive coach. So my question is, like, dude, you have an Alvin Kamara on your team. Now, I believe that I think there's many facets to Alvin Kamara. I think there's many levels to this guy. I think, you have an Alvin Kamara on your team. Why are you not using him? Like, I get it. He's a very nonchalant guy, and that's his personality, but it trickles onto the field. And that's what I don't like about Alvin Kamara too, because I believe that he don't like he won't like he plays like when the Saints are doing bad, he plays very nonchalant. Like he's very unmotivational. Like he has that type of style to him.
All right. So first part of this: are you familiar with the TV show The Bear by chance? Jeremy Allen White. It's the show where he's a chef. Go and watch the first season of that show, and he takes over at this little diner-esque, like local family-run restaurant. He is a like Michelin star trained chef. Okay, and the beginning is very rocky, and there's a whole lot of like, man, is he in over his head? Is he? No, this isn't working. The food's not coming out right. Like maybe is he doing too much? Is he doing too little? And then everything kind of clicks, right? His vision kind of comes through, and everyone buys in, and everyone understands the role, and everyone understands what they got to be doing. But he also understands what he has to work with. He also understands I can't fit a round peg in a square hole or whatever. So I think that's what's going on with Kellen and the Saints. I think Kellen is just like Jeremy Allen White in that show. He's too talented. He's too well trained. He's too whatever to not be a good cook. Kellen is too good at the details, the information, the football side of things to be a bad coach. Now, there is some, okay, well, how can you run a team? The culture, the identity, have the player, do they understand what they got to do? Do they understand what you're asking them to do? Do you even have the guys on the roster to do what you want? All right? Can they even execute it? All of that is still very much in flux, and some of that trickles to the usage. Some of that trickles to why is Alvin Kamara being used the way he's used? Is it a Alvin thing? Is it a Kellen thing? Is it a scheme thing? Is it a combination of the three? I don't know. I've got full faith in Kellen that he will figure it out, just like Jeremy Allen White figures it out later on in the TV show. No spoilers, but I still would be really, really surprised if Kellen failed as a head coach. I really would. Now, he's going to have growing pains. This is his first year as a head coach. He's going to have to figure some stuff out, and he will have some whoopsie poopsies, and our hope is that he's good enough to see it, learn from it, adapt, pivot, whatever.
But, like, let's say the offensive line isn't blocking well. He won't fight for the extra yardage. He'll just take his 2-3 yards and go down. Now, opposed to Kendre Miller, I believe, was running better than him. Like, Kendre Miller was.
I think he was running better than Alvin, but I don't think it's because Alvin was nonchalant and Kendre is not. I'm always careful when it comes to those kind of things because they're just, it's like one of those things where you just don't know. You just have no idea how to quantify that kind of stuff. So, it's like it'd be like saying like, well, he's not eating the best dinners the night before the game. It's like I don't know that. I also have no idea what he's eating, and I also have no idea if it actually is impacting the game. I don't know. Alvin approaches the game, I will say, as his work. He is going to work. I mean, he's let everyone know he's not really a football guy. He doesn't really watch football, doesn't really concern himself with it. He's a NASCAR guy. He shows up because that's what he is on contract to do, right? He's a professional football player for the New Orleans Saints, and that's it. He is happy to do what the team asks him to do. However, he's part of the game plan. He'll do his role. He'll do his whatever. And I think that sometimes the like cerebral kind of like, it's just a business, it's just work, it's just what I do, it's not who I am kind of thing. I think sometimes, especially when the Saints are losing, I think sometimes people misinterpret that like he doesn't care or he's apathetic or it's just whatever to him. I don't think that's true. I think he is giving his all. He's just a different kind of football player, he's a different kind of athlete. He just sees the game a little bit different than other people who may show some of that fire or show, it's more than just a game to them.
He's actually solidifying himself as okay. He's possibly going to be the RB1.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when the offense plays terrible, Alvin Kamara is he plays terrible. I get it, but he doesn't fight for that extra yardage. So when the offensive line plays good, Alvin Kamara is going to be great. I don't like that about Alvin Kamara. I'm not blaming him for it. I think that his mind is elsewhere. I do not believe that his mind is on football. I do believe that his mind is on life after football. I do believe his mind is on NASCAR, all of these things, these brands or whatever that he's into. So yeah, I do believe that there. I kind of got off subject right there, but I feel like that's true. But my real question was, why is Kellen Moore not using Alvin Kamara? Like Alvin Kamara's wheelhouse is the outside of the tackles, the running outside of the tackles, the screen game, pass game. Like I get that Kellen Moore, like that's not his offensive scheme.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of that early on. It's just not his scheme, the outside zone runs or whatever, and the screens and all of that. One thing that I do question is why Kellen gives up on the run so quickly. Like last game, I think Alvin had 6 carries or whatever. And I don't know if it's a game script or just a game state thing or the run's not effective, so he just immediately abandons it. But it seems like a lot of the time, we're all of a sudden throwing the ball like 20 straight plays. And, sometimes it's like, I understand you can't be balanced when you're always down. And if the run's not successful, I get that. But having Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler throw the ball 50 times probably isn't the way either.
But bro, if you have an Alvin Kamara on your team, you need to get him involved. If you need to implement screen plays into your scheme, then that's what you need to do to get Alvin Kamara going. If you need to pass the ball more to Alvin Kamara to get him going, that's what you need to do. Because that dude is possibly the best offensive player on your team, and that's what you need. That's what he needs. But another thing.
Yeah, I think Alvin should be used more in the passing game. I mean, I think even just like out wide or in the slot or whatever. Like just, hey, look, the wide receivers are average. They're not playing great right now. Use Alvin as a guy. Get him in mismatches and get him the ball any way you can.
All right, Kendrick Miller goes down. But now, all right, we got next up, Devin Neal, the guy that you drafted. He comes in. He plays for 46% of the snaps and does not get 1 carry. It's really starting to get on my nerves. Like, why the things that should be like basic, he's not doing. Like, he's not running the ball. He's not getting Devin Neal, the guy that you drafted, to be next up. He's not giving him his shot. He's not giving Devon Vele, the guy that you traded 4th-round picks for, the ball. I just don't understand Kellen Moore. He's kind of befuddling me. I don't know. So, what do you think about that?
Some of the usage is perplexing, no doubt about it. Like, I agree. I think some of the usage, especially abandoning the run, the Devon Vele stuff has been crazy, 100%. And Devon Vele played a lot more snaps last game. I think he actually got like 5 or 6 targets. He only had a catch, but I think he played a way more snaps. So I don't know if like Kellen is just trying to figure all this stuff out and we're seeing it in real time. But some of the usage stuff is confusing. for sure. So that's something we got to kind of see moving forward. But just going all in on the pass sometimes I don't think is the move. I understand we don't run the ball well. I'm not saying we need to run into a brick wall. Like if we're getting 2 yards a carry, then yeah, abandon it, whatever. But I feel like sometimes we're quick to abandon it. All right, back to Austin Jacobs.
Hey, James.
Hey, man.
My question, comes for, the legend of New Orleans, face of the franchise.
God, I love being me.
We have right now
I love being me.
My question really kind of ties into my last one. As the Saints continue on the back half of the season, I don't really want to bring up the draft too much just because it's still far away and there's so many pieces that can fall into play, whether it's a high pick and how players perform in college and if they're solidified, top pick, generation talent. If at the deadline, could you see the Saints adding maybe some future young talented players to replace aging players, whether it's, obviously wide receiver, we have a lot of issues. For some, the ball drops and, or fumbles like Rashid had in the last game. If you could pinpoint not even just players, but realistically just positions that you could see the Saints trade for value, maybe, whether or not giving up asset, like, draft asset, but more other players to switch out, what would you see and who do you feel they would target the most? Because, with Quincy Riley and other players at corner, with Alontae Taylor's contract coming up, hopefully, I think he deserves it. I want to see your opinion on players that you could see coming into New Orleans at the trade deadline or potentially going out and getting more draft picks maybe. And second, do you see Tulane making the college playoffs? And if they do, what do you think it'll look like for them in the playoffs? Because I know with them being a group, a lesser, named school going to college playoffs, it's going to be harder for them to win. Do you think John Summerall could rally that team to win some upside games? And if they do, could we potentially see you going to those games and cheering them on?
I would absolutely go if they hosted a playoff game, 100%. I would absolutely be in that number, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. To answer your previous question, I don't think the Saints are going to be buyers at the deadline. Trading old players for young players is something that sounds cool, but it's not going to happen. The Saints, unfortunately, they got to offload their older or aging or, depending on the contract, those assets and hope to get draft capital moving forward. That's what the Saints should do. We need to see the Saints go into this draft with 6, 7, 8, 9 draft picks just like last year. We can't be spending capital to go get young players for the season sunk. So you might as well just use draft capital, draft those players, have them on the rookie contracts, and no, I don't think there's any world where the Saints are where they are buyers at the deadline. All right, next up, Super Duck 130.
Hi, James. First time caller. Just wanted to say, excuse me.
Oh, it's all right. Hey, get you a lozenge. All right.
Love the content, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
My question, I have two about Kellen Moore and what you think of him so far. So while there are things I like, such as his elevation of the QB play, for example, clearly defining the first read and helping the QB get the ball out quickly and decisively.
Yeah.
One thing I am beginning to worry about is how he prepares the team. This is 2 weeks in a row where the team, specifically the offense, looks flat to start the games. They've also seemed to be really soft up front recently. I wanted to know if this is something you noticed as well. Secondly, and this kind of piggybacks off the softness of the team and the unpreparedness, is do you think Kellen has that CEO coach trait in him right now? And if not, do you think that's something he can develop? Thanks.
He has to develop it. And, I don't expect him to come in and immediately be, whatever, the most efficient at doing this. He has to develop some of those traits for sure. And he's got to figure out what that even looks like, what that looks like for him, what he wants it to look like, how it's going to operate, whatever. It's hard to do when you are dealing with what the Saints are dealing with the losses and just how bad it's been. It's hard to instill that, CEO, whatever, like this is how we're going to do it. This is the culture. This is the identity when there's no results, like for a company, if they're losing money or just getting blasted the first couple of months, first quarter, second quarter, they're in the red, they're struggling. The message from the CEO kind of falls on deaf ears at that point because it's like, this is our culture. This is our identity. It's okay, cool. Well, we're down 20%. So I'm not really buying into this. You know what I mean? Like he's going to have to see some results before I think that kind of gets picked up, I guess. But on the front side of your question, it is the first drive thing, first quarter thing, first half thing is absolutely a problem. We should be way better than we are at the beginning of games. That is the scripted drives. That should be your most efficient drives. That's all game plan, game prep, whatever. I will say, though, in the Bucs game, our first drive was great until the fumble, right? In the Bears game, we had the early fumble. So sometimes he is kind of getting cut off at the knees where we don't even know. Like we don't even know what the scripted drive was or what was going to happen or how this was going to play out because of a missed field goal or a fumble or whatever. It's like it really is just a perfect storm of bad recently. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if we're just that bad in the first quarter and first half and first drive for the whole season, that yeah, I mean, what's going on? That can't happen. That is a hallmark of a bad offense or a bad design or bad play calling or bad prep, whatever, is if you're just 3-and-out punt, can't score in the first quarter, whatever. Now, the Saints can't score at all. So is it a first quarter problem? Is it a game problem? Is it, but the early lack of success absolutely needs to be talked about, discussed, and monitored. All right, Austin Jacobs.
Hey, James. A question for the Rams game starting Shough.
Yeah.
Is it bad to start him? Because I feel like if he doesn't come out prepared against that defense, because the Rams, honestly, I don't know. Like I feel like they're a sleeper team. Like they're going to be a dog in that game. Like I don't see the Saints winning it whatsoever. But is it wrong to put Shough against a team like them? Because I feel like we're about to see like a Texas A&M versus LSU all over again, but worse for Shough. Like he's gonna get raw dogged. What's your opinion on that?
It's not wrong, but it is YOLO to the max. It's not wrong, but it is very much like, man, you are not allowing yourself any wiggle room. Like you are throwing Shough to the toughest possible situation. You are saying, F it, we ball. Like you're kind of throwing everything out here. You can't start Shough in this situation and expect him to be the greatest quarterback you've ever seen. If he really struggles in this game, it's almost kind of baked in. Like this is arguably the worst possible spot for him to be in with a travel to California against a bye-week rested Rams team who do exactly what the Saints don't want a team to do. He's going to be facing an insane pass rush. The Saints are going to be down, so he's going to have to throw. So the defense knows what's going on, so the pass rush is going to be even more extreme. It is tough, man. I mean, this is one of those where it is the ultimate sink or swim. I remember when I was a little kid, swim lessons were a little different back then. And back then, swim lessons were the first thing you did was you conquered your fear of the water. And the way you did that was your parent or whoever brought you to the lessons would just hold you, and y'all would just go underwater, just underwater and underwater and underwater and underwater. And if you breathed water in and coughed and choked, then get 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever, back underwater. And you're just doing that over and over again. And you're not expected to swim. You're not even asked to swim. All you're asked to do is hold your breath when you go underwater and just be comfortable in that environment. And that's kind of what this is. Like I'm not even really expecting him to swim in this game. It's just, all right, this is probably going to suck. Let's see how you handle that for 4 quarters. But it is a difficult ask, no doubt about it. All right, Ryan Arthur getting up in here.
Hey, James, big fan here.
Thank you.
I was just thinking about what level you believe Tyler Shough needs to play at in order to prevent the Saints from going quarterback in the draft. Obviously, if he's playing like Justin Herbert or Stafford or Mahomes or something like that, then there's no chance. But if he plays like, let's say, Kyler Murray's playing so far this year, Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy when he wasn't injured, somewhere around like the 16 to 22nd best quarterback in the league, do you think the Saints go QB? How well does he have to play, and what quarterback does he have to play like in order for the Saints not to go QB? Thanks.
You're welcome. This is kind of a funny answer, but it's also the truth. He has to play like Spencer Rattler was playing. If he plays how Rattler was playing before the implosion, I think the Saints would be okay to not move off of him. Now, it depends on who is there. We got a lot of college football left. If Dante Moore all of a sudden is the next coming of Jaden Daniels, and he's that good when it comes to the draft night, then he's got to play a whole lot better, right? But if the draft class is weak, because think about it, we got the entire college football season, but then we've got Senior Bowl, the Combine, workouts, pro days. So we're going to learn a lot about these guys, for sure. And if someone stands out and they're the generational type guy or they're that next level guy, then it's going to be difficult for the Saints not to take them, for sure. But if they're lukewarm on the draft class, I think as long as Shough is playing around where Rattler was playing, which was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of the 21st to 26th quarterback, somewhere in there, I think they'd hold on and they'd be willing to build and then next year figure it out. The Saints have motivation to not take a quarterback in this draft, build the roster, and then figure things out next year. But their hand can be forced two ways. First way is a draft prospect elevates themselves to be that good where he can't miss, or the quarterback play for the Saints is so bad that they have to address it. So that's a lot of factors, a lot happening, but that's how I see it kind of playing out. All right, last call, Simon Mitchell, the main event.
What's good, face of the franchise?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's Simon here.
Yeah.
So as we all know, I had a voice message earlier saying that Spencer Rattler could be the guy, could be the franchise QB. That was my hot take. LOL. So now that we see what happened with that and what's fixing to happen with Tyler Shough, I just want to say kind of like theoretically, ask a question real quick.
Sure.
Do you think, like, let's say the books are closed on Spencer Rattler, like everything's closed.
Yeah.
He is what he is. He's not going to start again for the Saints ever. We don't know what's going to happen. But could we say that Spencer Rattler reached his ceiling that he could reach on the Saints? Like the highest ceiling possible on the Saints, this current Saints team, he reached his peak. I don't know, maybe it was the 3 touchdown game. Maybe it was the Patriots game when he went 20 for 26. Maybe it was against the Bills. But let's say that ceiling, that was his peak with the Saints. Is that a possibility? Because as we know, the Saints, for a QB, there isn't a flux of talent around him. And that would be the same thing for Tyler Shough and any QB until the team around him gets better, right? There's not any wide receivers that can catch the ball consistently for him. There are guys catching the ball, bobbling it, getting it intercepted from Tyler Shough. You know what I'm saying? There's just people they're just not doing right around the QB, right? Is that a possibility? Like, let's say that Spencer Rattler, we trade him and he goes to another team, and now all of a sudden, this dude is balling out. Like, we've seen it before. We've seen it with Trey Hendrickson. We've seen it with what's the old dude from the Eagles?
Zach Bond.
Linebacker. I can't think of the name right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about, dude. Let's say he goes to a team with wide receivers that can catch, like Stephen Diggs, Justin Jefferson, whoever. And he's just balling out. Like, is there a real ceiling that, like, it's kind of like you can only go to a certain point with the QB with the Saints team that we have? Yeah, that's my question. So
Well, if I'm using your context of like in the theoretical that he never ever plays again for the Saints, and yeah, he has reached his ceiling with the Saints, but he's never going to play again. Now we've seen it with Geno, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. We see it all at Mac Jones. The book is never shut on a quarterback, and sometimes resources change. Okay, let's say you go to a gym. Let's say there's two gyms. One, they're across the street from each other. And let's say you work at a blue gym, red gym. Let's say you work out at the blue gym for 5 years. And all they have, the highest dumbbell they go to is 60 pounds. You're only ever going to bench 60-pound dumbbells because they don't have any higher dumbbells. That's the only resources they have. So you are capped out at how much you can bench on the dumbbells. Now let's say you go to the red gym and they've got 100-pound dumbbells. There is absolutely a chance that you never get to the 100-pound dumbbells, even though they have them. Like, you may just stay at 60. That may just be your max. But there is a chance, because now you have new resources, now you have whatever, the environment around you has changed. There is a chance now that you go from 60 to 65 to 70 to 75 to 80. Who knows? Right? You have no clue. That's how a lot of this plays. Like Zach Bond. Vaughn was never, ever, ever going to be the player he was last year in Philly under Dennis Allen and the Saints. Not only was he buried on the depth chart, but it was also a completely different scheme. He was asked to do something completely different. So the best thing for Zach Bond was to lead the Saints. If he would have stayed with the Saints, the resources, the environment, just like the red gym, blue gym, it wasn't going to work. Okay? All that is factored in. That's why when people are like, like the Zach Bond thing last year, it's like, good for Zach Bond, but it wouldn't have happened here, no matter how long we kept him. You're never going to bench 70-pound dumbbells if all you have is 60-pound dumbbells, right? Sometimes it's just not a fit for a multitude of reasons. Sometimes you got to learn, right? I think Sam Darnold, I think Geno, I think players like that, Baker, I think they really benefited from learning, failing, adjusting, going from this place to that place, this coach to that coach, and then all of a sudden it just clicks and it comes together. But unfortunately in the NFL, teams have to make decisions. And teams have to make decisions for contracts, for time purposes. I mean, like the Tyler Shough thing or Spencer Rattler. Yeah, you would love to give those guys 3 good years to develop, but that's not going to happen anymore, right? So unfortunately, it's not the case. And when that's not the case, you get a chance to be good somewhere else. So all of that is the ultimate, hindsight 2020. What could have been, all that. But sometimes, it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination, right? So sometimes, you never know. If Baker would have stayed in Cleveland, would he have been as good as he is now? Probably not. If Baker would have stayed in Carolina, would he have been as successful as he is now? Probably not. He may have needed all of that of his journey. He may have needed all of the stops, all of the coaching, all of the experience, all of the failures and the successes. You don't know. Same with Trey Hendrickson, same with Zach Bond, same with whoever, Geno and Mac Jones and whoever else. You just don't know. So, there's a ton of quarterbacks back in the day, like Matt Leinart. I thought Matt Leinart was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. But he had to play immediately in Arizona, and he never really had a chance. Now, if Matt Leinart would have got drafted by Green Bay, and he would have been given 2 years to sit and learn and be a backup and let things catch up to him, would his career have been different? Yeah. Hell yeah, it would have been different. Would he have been, it would have absolutely been different. Would he have succeeded? We don't know about that. We have no idea. I have no clue. But it would have been different. Okay, so there's a lot that plays into the whole butterfly effect kind of situation for sure. But would it surprise me if Rattler went somewhere else and was good? No, it wouldn't surprise me. Would it surprise me if he went somewhere else and looked the exact same as he did with the Saints? No. Wouldn't surprise me. There's so many variables with that kind of stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are all your messages today. Send them in. Send them in if you want to hear your voice on the channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.